Now, here is something really cool that Samsung mentioned at Mobile World Congress. A Samsung executive mentioned this, and they also mentioned it at the launch of the S26 series for future devices, right? And that's bringing vibe coding to Samsung Galaxy smartphones. Now, I'm sure it's just going to be flagship devices. Now, if you're wondering, well, what the hell is vibe coding, right? It kind of sounds like a trendy hipster word that everybody's using now. Well, it's sort of a new thing, and actually, Nothing introduced this in the Nothing Phone 3. It was in beta, so you had to apply to use it. And what this is a hands-on Nothing Essential apps. So they have this essential space, this essential apps, just specifically for the Phone 3. What it is, and again, Samsung's going to implement this into future devices. So potentially, they said in the future, so I'm assuming it's S20, probably 7 series, they'll probably implement this, where you can basically tell the application how to custom design an application for you. So you can essentially code an app using on device AI. You can tell it what you want to do, and it'll code it for you and actually form that application for you to use. Now, on Nothing, it's specifically for widgets, customizing widgets to give you information, news on whatever, right? Could be your health. Keep a track on my blood pressure or O2 levels, or give me news for the San Antonio Spurs, right? Or whatever, right? Nothing was using it just for widgets. Samsung, what makes Samsung different, they're going to bring this, but they're also not just going to do widgets, customized widgets for you. They're actually going to do applications. So you can code, you can tell Samsung, whatever they're going to call it, a specific thing that you want to build, whatever app you want, and it'll build it for you. Carl Pei famously said on a video last year leading up to the Phone 3 that he thinks all future phones, as far as operating systems, will be based on this, meaning you make the operating system. Of course, it'll probably have system apps, right? Obviously, like a settings app and whatever else bloatware they want to throw in there. But a lot of the apps will be up to you. Like if you want to make your own sports app, boom, it'll make it for you. Health app, boom, it'll make it for you. And it'll customize the operating system around you. Now I can definitely see that here in the next 3 to 5 to 7 years. I think it's going to take a little while for the industry to kind of find its way into this new operating system. But I think this is going to be adopted by not just Samsung. They obviously are. The Samsung mobile executive was talking about implementing this into their phones. And I think Nothing will be the first to adopt this because Carl Pei was talking about this a while ago, and they actually brought vibe coding to the Nothing Phone 3. But this is very cool. I can definitely see all phones adopting this here in the near future. Let me show you what some of this looks like when you start coding, start telling AI how you want to develop these apps. So this is maybe hard to see, but this is it'll ask you questions when you want to vibe code or customize a widget on the Nothing phone. And I'm sure it'll look similar to when Samsung implements it into their operating system, One UI, for a custom application that you want to make. It'll ask you on the left here, template, kind of saying, hey, what do you want to build? It'll ask you questions. Do you want to implement this? Do you want to implement that? Do you want it to have a black backdrop or black theme, dark mode? Do you have any information you want to input? Do you want to pull information from the box scores of ESPN and the San Antonio Spurs to help with data? This is so cool. Is there any weather? I'm sure it'll pair APIs in the background, pull information from all sorts of stuff, or pull information from your health from your watch. You know, see what I'm saying? It'll ask you a question. Do you want this? Do you want that? And you tell it, yes, but only updated every 15 minutes in the background, blah, 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 whatever. This is cool. I'm very excited to see Samsung. I was kind of shocked because they're like one of the last people I would think that would implement stuff like stuff like this into their operating system. But when you innovate, when you want to get ahead of your competition, just like the privacy display that they're bringing to the table, nobody's ever seen that or heard of that. Well, they could be the first to bring this to mainstream big time Android phones, because nothing's cool, but it's a smaller company, and Samsung's number one competitor is Apple. So the more innovative stuff that Samsung can offer its potential users over an iPhone, that'll pull people, or not a lot, but it'll pull some. Look, privacy display will pull some people, I'm sure, away from Apple. This new vibe coding thing Samsung's going to implement in the future will pull some people away from Apple. So it's, you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over time. They keep on bringing something new to the table every year. Apple doesn't have squat to bring to the table. Let's be honest, right? All they got's the stupid name iPhone, and that's about it. Let's face it, iOS sucks, right? I mean, I don't like using my iPhone, but this is something that would customize you to the T on your phone. Now, I think Samsung, this is just in the very beginning stages. So look, they're not going to bring it to the S26 Ultra 6 months from now in an update. This will probably be a special feature that they're only going to implement on the upcoming S27 Ultra, just for example, in when you buy whatever 9, I don't know, but keep an eye on this. It's very cool. If you have a Nothing Phone 3, I'm sure that's like the only thing cool from the phone besides its ugly looks. I definitely want to try this out. I think it's getting out of beta right now and available for all users of the Phone 3, but looks very cool and very interested to try this out. So appreciate the time, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.